All right, so let's have a look at the markets and see where we are. It was a quite an interesting week. Oh, there are people drilling next door. It might come up. It might be in the video, but never mind that. So we have this. Now this is clearer to see now, because last time I was looking at this as, is this 1 or is this 2? You could have read it either way. In other markets, it's clear. It's clearer that it's 1. In this market, you can see it as either 1 or 2. In any case, this second one compared to this first one was the one, if this indeed is 2, it's the one I was interested in last week. Because when this was coming down, I said to myself, okay, is this area going to hold, or is it going to come down a bit lower? It has indeed held, and we can now read this as this move comes after this one. And all of that is to say, this is going to take a while before it turns, because I now believe, with this added information, that this market is quickly, let me see if we can see it. Okay, it's quickly going to make a new high. I don't think it's made the high quite yet. I think it's got another few pips to go. Higher than where it is. The high of the last day. I think it's got a few pips to go. But in any case, it's going to make that high. And after it does that, we have this levels here before we can see a potential turn. And markets aren't just going to, because of this push up, it's not immediately going to come all the way down, right? It's going to take a while before it turns smoothly. In fact, probably not as rough as this. This is a bit sharp, but it's going. I'm using all of this, saying all of this to say this is going to take a while before it turns. Other markets, on the other hand, especially Wall Street, is looking more interesting than FTSE. And this is because this has, 1, a move to go upwards again to challenge this high. 2, let me go into the 4 hourly. It's getting ready to turn. So you see this market, we've had this move up, and then ever since we've had all of this struggle, right? And what I'm seeing from this high compared to this high is a turn. That's gearing up. Let me clear this up a bit. What I'm seeing is this is starting to turn. So I want to see how this performs. It's going to go up. Well, the immediate move is downwards, and then it's going to make an attempt upwards, I believe. And this attempt will be to challenge this high and this high. Now, why I say this is interesting is, if this being the most recent high is technically lower than this high, right? So we have a lower high. However, if you look at all of this, we don't yet have a lower low. So it might be a case of this continues to edge upwards, and we have something like this, a squeeze. That is a possibility. I don't know yet. It needed a lot more data. A lot more data. I'm talking weeks probably. But whenever that does make a turn, it leads into an even more telling story, which is coming from the daily, which is looking at a similar thing from the daily, but this is going to take a lot longer to build. It's looking as though markets or time frames are aligning, and if that is the case, then when this does drop, this will be the target right here. It's going to take a while, like weeks before it happens, but if you were to time this correctly, it could be a very profitable trade, because you'll be looking at the best part of from here all the way down to here as a move. And before that happens, you'll have a similar thing on this time frame, but looking at this low, maybe even this one instead. And before that happens, you're looking at a buy, because these guys, let me get my marker, these guys down here who pushed this upwards, they're again looking at all of this move, right? So all of this move coming down and saying, please come back to this level so that I can once again buy and attempt to at least get up to this high, if not this high. The high it comes to will determine when this is ready to drop. If it's able to make, let me clear this up. If it's able to make this high, if it's able to make this high, then it's not ready to drop at all. But if it only makes it up to this high, then we will say, okay, this lower high has been achieved once, and if prices does come all the way down here, we can say, okay, we've broken this level. Right now, this level and this level are the interesting ones for me. Because if this is the lower high, what we need is a lower low. And the lower low will be at this point, right? So we have this low, and then this low. So those price break this level, and if it goes up, does it end lower than here? If it does, if both of those things are true, then we can say, okay, this is now turning. We have a lower high and a lower low, which means we're ready to go anytime soon. It's a similar thing in Germany, but Germany is less clear. So you see, Germany has all of this big push up with this as an SNR, and either this guy who started the push up or this guy. I'm gonna go with this secondary guy. I'm gonna go with this secondary guy who started all of that, and this is the SNR. So this can come down quite low, most likely to the SNR, and make at least one more attempt upwards. When this makes its move upwards, Wall Street is going to be ready as well, making its move upwards. So what I would like to see for the coming week is for this to come down even more. I think this level is probably where it's going to go before we have a push upwards on this time frame, hourly. And the push upward probably wouldn't make this high, but it will hang about between, let me clear all of this. Prices will hover between this high and this low on this time frame for a while, which will be a good setup for the 4 hourly, because the 4 hourly needs all of this to be consumed before another push upwards, and that essentially means we're going to see it take a long time. On the hourly, it's going to be more or less like this, either ranging or just going slightly lower each time, like channeling. And once prices come down to the 15,200 level, then when prices do that, then it'll be ready to go and make a secondary attempt from this first push upwards. And that will coincide with what's happening in Wall Street as well. In fact, Wall Street, I think, could be the market that leads it, because this is the market that's most ready to turn out of the three of them. FTSE is not ready at all. FTSE, I'm just gonna stay away from it for a while. I'll keep watching it, seeing what happens, but it's completely out of whack with the other two, and would need more time to align, whereas Wall Street and Germany are more aligned. So Wall Street is actually my preferred one for going into the week, and I think this would probably be, if I were interested in this, I think it will be a buy once all of this move coming down eases up. So assuming it doesn't come lower than here, but comes as close to this level as possible, we'll have another attempt upwards, I reckon, to challenge this and then this. Which will, on this time frame, will lead to another setup, which will be this showing. So if we have this, let's say, let me move this along just a bit and say, okay, so we have something like this, right? And then this is the secondary move upwards. Probably wouldn't move upwards like that. Let me see if I can map this out just a bit better. Let's say that's to challenge this level and also this level, right? It will coincide with the length of time that Germany will need to get set up on this time frame before it comes down. And when it comes down, it will come down in a strong manner to show conviction that the sellers are here, and that will give this a nice curvature to say, okay, we're headed downwards, and we're headed downwards to this line. But before that, this can continue to go upwards for some time. So when the buyers come in to make another attempt upwards, I'll be curious to see whether they break this high and attempt this high, or whether they're not even able to make this high, in which case we're going down to the next level, maybe down, yeah, down where these guys are, before it makes another attempt. All of this is pure speculation because markets are just way out of sync. These two, Germany and Wall Street, are the only two that I'm seeing as quite interesting. FTSE, unfortunately, is not. FTSE is just doing its own thing away from the other two. And before it has a chance to turn around, it's going to require a lot of time to absorb all of this and then make another attempt downwards. Because on a daily, not only do we have all of this to contend with, we have this to contend with. So if the sellers, even if they breach this level, which they attempted to several times and weren't able to, they'll have this guy to contend with. So even if they do breach it, which will take some time to happen, they have this to contend with. So I don't think that will happen. Just thinking out loud. Well, I don't think that will happen because I don't think prices all of a sudden going to come crashing down and then down some more to absorb all of this. It's going to take a hell of a long time to first absorb this, attempt another high, absorb that, range for a bit, and then it's going to make its way downwards to challenge this guy. And because FTSE is lagging behind other markets, when it does move downwards, it's not going to move as quickly or as far as the other two markets because it's not ready to align with them. The other two markets, they're ready to go downwards. So yeah, it's interesting for Wall Street as the number one market, Germany as the number two market. You see, Germany, similar thing to FTSE, right? We have all of that to contend with, but before that we have this to contend with, and we're seeing signs that the sellers are trying to contend with it. So in Germany this week, I think the sellers will make it down to this level. And then another attempt upwards to breach that high. And in order for it to come down to contend these guys down here, it's going to need time to range, right? To absorb all of that showing an inability to go upwards and then come down, if it is to come down. There's a chance that it ranges and then goes up even more, but I think this is guaranteed to turn, as Wall Street is. So compare these two, Germany and FTSE, to Wall Street. The design of Wall Street is a lot better, because similar thing with the other two markets, we had all of this to contend with, which has already been absorbed, and this is their next attempt upwards, which, if you notice, this comparing to this is weaker than this. So buyers are still buying, but they're taking their money away a lot quicker, because they would, at this level, they were just able to make this high, but not this high. And they did so in a weaker manner compared to the first time they made an attempt. So they struggled even more and didn't get much value out of that struggle. Oh, this will be a brilliant move when it's ready. It's not quite ready yet. It's going to take a bit more time, but this will be the first market that's ready, I reckon. Because the drop down will firstly, well, the sellers are going to be at this level first, right? To break, let me clear this up a bit. To break all of this channel that's happening. When this is broken, next level will be here, and we could see a similar design to this channel design, because on a higher time frame point of view, all of this, oops, let me draw that better. All of this is a channel. That's one way of looking at it. Another way is to say, well, we have this, right? But we also have an inability to go upwards. So a squeeze. So we'll continue to see all of this before it pops. Either upwards or downwards. I think if this does pop upwards, there's a big chance that these guys over here is going to smack it back down, and hard. And if they were to do that, then we'll essentially have, on a higher time frame point of view, going even higher, a range. So a couple of things are designing on this. It's looking very good for both buyers and sellers, as in you're going to have action in this market. First with the buyers, because you have, oops, what happened? So now you have buyers here, and we've also had buyers here. And to buy, you need sellers. So they're going to want sellers to come down. Where they come down to, it could be anywhere between here and here. It's quite a big range, but it's going to come down. Price is going to come down for buyers to make an attempt. When they're happy with the price, they will make an attempt to either challenge that guy, or depending on how strongly they come up, go all the way up to this guy. I think buyers are going to be very, when they reach this level, be very hesitant, because these guys, they've smacked it back down before. In fact, actually, let's trace the buyers. So when they pushed it upwards from here, they did all of that and started taking money away slowly, right? And I'm interested to see where they buy again. Let's say it's between these two levels, and prices come, let's say prices does that, right? And buyers once again hit it from here. If they do so with conviction, then we can say this price here, they're happy with it, and are willing to buy from this price and take it all the way up. If when they reach between here and here, you see a sharp move down, it will be the buyers being afraid of something that's up here. It'll be them being afraid of something that's up there. So they're taking their money off. They're taking their money off, and more are doing so quickly because they're anticipating sellers are going to come in. Sellers are up here somewhere between here and here. We have sellers. So it wouldn't surprise me to see prices reacting anywhere from this level, as prices will react from this level. So between here and here and up here and here, we're going to have movement. I think here's the safe zone. Here's the safe zone. As in, if you buy from either anywhere from this area pushing upwards, you're safe. And once you get up to, let me clear this up. If you buy anywhere from this area, you're safe. Once you get up to this level, if you sell anywhere from here, you're relatively safe. You're not going to do so anywhere here. That's a no-no. So we have a fight, essentially. Buyers versus sellers. Who are the buyers? These guys. Who are the sellers? These guys. So let's see who wins. When markets open, I anticipate buyers to react, but react off of what sellers do. So for sellers to come in first and for buyers to react to the sellers and take it upwards to them before sellers respond to the buyers. So yes, first move is for buyers, but in order to buy, you need sellers. So sellers are going to push prices down first. Once buyers respond, we can then reanalyze, and the analysis will be based off of how they push up, the speed, the power of their move, and how they, as well as sellers, respond when prices reach this range. That's my thinking for the week. I'm finding this so I'm getting more excited the more I look at this market, especially Wall Street, because you can see the excitement of it. It's a lot more interesting than Germany, perhaps. Certainly more interesting than FTSE. FTSE is just boring. If you were in on all of this move, then reviewing things, sure, might be fun, but waiting for all of this to be absorbed is just too boring. So the focus is on Wall Street as the number one for the week. In fact, for the next couple of weeks, actually, because this will take a while to play out. It's Wall Street, and the alternative is Germany. Yeah. All right, I'll leave it there and potentially have videos throughout the week. All right, bye for now.